I'm Bryce Randall, postfifthpictures.com.
Cameron Randall, Blue Fire Studios, Director of Photography.
Anyway, we wanted to talk a little bit about Final Cut Pro X or 10 today, as with the big announcement last night at the Super Meet. Now, if you've read my blog, you know that I wasn't able to go. My wife is expecting any day, so I decided to stay home and kind of follow the coverage through Twitter, MacRumors. Our first big joke was that, is it called Final Cut Pro 10? Because that's what version we should be on.
Yes.
Right now, we're going to go ahead and skip.
Wasn't it 7?
We were on 7, so we skipped 8 and 9. But I mean, what do you think about it overall?
Well, we don't want to be long-winded about this because there's all kinds of people talking about it and stuff. But from a professional standpoint, we're a little bit underwhelmed. And granted, it is a sneak peek at what they're looking to do. But honestly, we do feel like it was a little bit of smoke and mirrors thrown up there. And that's what Apple does really well, is actually kind of throw up the presentation. But getting down to brass tacks, there was nothing kind of in the presentation that I felt like was a real hook that was gonna get me as a professional who's been waiting for some serious updates from Apple on their Final Cut Pro suite.
We drink the Kool-Aid. We love the Apple stuff. You know, I obviously have an iPad too. It's white, and I figured out how to get one without waiting at an Apple store at 6 in the morning every day. So, you know, you can look at me and call me a hypocrite, but I think professionally, this is a fun gadget, and I use it and I love it. But as far as professional things go, I think every announcement that they had, I was like, okay, well, that was expected. Like being 64-bit, that was expected. That's wonderful. I'm really excited about it, but that was expected. Dynamically handle massive quantities of media, resolution independent playback, full color managed based on color sync. I think all that's cool, and that it's going to use, like all the different cores of your machine, all your processors, and there's background rendering, and that's amazing. And everyone's like, no more rendering. The render tool, writing video thing is gone. Okay, well that's gone. So what happened to it? Like, are our processors going to be eaten up by it? Where is the storage going? Is it really not rendering, or are we just like? It's kind of like I feel the same way about like Final Cut 7's compressor background exporting. Like, it's great to use, but if you have a huge project, it's much faster to just export a QuickTime reference movie and then, use your cluster to export it to DVD.
Oh, the other thing was I was thinking, yeah, it's gone. Like, where does it go? Or is it just kind of another like workaround like Apple did when they were saying like, this is our red integration a few things ago, where it's like, this, we work with the red, blah blah blah, and it turns out what they really just mean is they want you to transcode it first and then it works, or the proxy files work. Right now, for 90% of my projects, I've switched over to the Adobe suite 100% just because it will natively cut everything I throw at it right now. Did they just move the the rendering bar, just have it disappear because all of a sudden now, like, and I'm dreading, and I really hope this isn't the case, and it doesn't seem like they would do this, but is it all of a sudden like iMovie where it has to transcode everything into a native format? Then it's like, yay, magic can happen.
And I think that the biggest, and you have to understand, like, I come from this background where I worked on 127 hours. I was able to intern on Pirates 3 and see how that workflow figured out. And Cameron is more on like the commercial end of things, lower budget, documentary type of thing. So you can see how we have these different, well, I'll go ahead and say, we worked on Avid on 127 hours and on Pirates and on a lot of other shops that I've worked at. And Cameron has been able to use Premiere to his advantage in what he's doing, and we still both dabble in Final Cut Pro. We use it every day, but there's just a couple little things where I feel like, Final Cut Pro is here, and Avid and Adobe were here in some respects, and this brought them up to here, but, in like 6 months' time, 9 months' time, they could release another update that just brings it up here, or, by next NAB it'll go up to here, and Apple will wait 2 years and release their next update and have to bring it there. I don't feel like there was anything that really like changed the game. It was just a lot of like a big interface change. This is we'll tell storytelling a different way. Again, this is all speculation because it's really just a
gimmick tool here
a preview.
Or there.
Yeah, like one of the things that drives me nuts is like the instant render in the background. We talked about that. Automatic audio analysis and sync. I think that's cool, but I I bought Pluralize so I could do that. So, that's great. You don't have to buy Pluralize, but I already have a tool that can take care of that.
Here's another thought too, just really quick, is that these are all great, features that I'd love to have integrated, like you're saying. I don't have to worry about Pluralize, but having said that, how well do they work? And like I said, this is all speculation. It was a sneak peek, but at the same time, I don't want to get excited over something that does it work only under the optimal conditions. It's kind of like the on After Effects, the Roto Brush tool came out, and everyone was like, "Hey, that looks so cool." But does it only work if you have the perfect conditions? No, it actually works okay under a lot of different situations. So I'm hoping that that's not the case with some of these new integrated features. Anyway, but we're coming up on 5 minutes. I'm sure that people are getting bored with having
speculation.
Everyone's talked about this all over the interwebs.
But I think the hardest part for me is that I understand that there's 4K playback and there's it can handle 4K resolution, but does that mean that we have to transcode to ProRes 4K, or is there what does that mean? It says that we can natively handle. I thought I read something saying that we can natively handle GoPro stuff and DSLR stuff, but what is that?
But that's
what does that mean?
That's a prosumer crowd. Is that what Apple's moving towards?
I feel like crowd? It is more prosumer with the kind of stuff they've talked about, and it's they want to make us feel like we're heading towards professionals, but in all actuality, I feel it's like the producers that they're catering to.
For people who feel like they want the easy button, so they can just buy this package and be like, yay, this is something
we have everything we need right here.
Yeah, we're going to do a movie. We bought Final Cut. We bought a laptop. It's going to be great. It's going to be cheap and fast and easy. And it's like...
Kind of catering to the, we've got a Red, it does 4K, and it's like, well, okay, so where do we go from there? I don't know. So I still think there's a lot of speculation about everything, and I don't know. I still don't know what... I feel almost just as confused about what it is as I did before the Super Me.
That's true, actually. I think that right now, too, we'll see what happens when they actually announce it and what everything is official, but I still feel like it's too little, too late, unless there's some new features that they can bring out, or maybe the suite integration together is way cooler.
And that's another thing, is that we don't really know what's happening to Color, DVD Studio Pro, Motion, or Soundtrack Pro. I'll buy it the first day it comes out because I'm going to use it. I'm going to have clients that want to use it, but
yes, rest assured, Apple will still buy it.
That's the problem.
But it's not because we absolutely need it right now. That's the problem.
At the end of the day, my wife was like, "So what's new?" And I'm like, "Well, there's lots of stuff that's new, but there's nothing that I can say, well, this is going to save me an hour a day to, face matching." Okay, that's fine, but...
How long will it take to process, too?
How long does it take to process, and, what kind of a material am I cutting to know where I need that? I don't work on material where I need to know face stuff. I see that being great for our reality people and for documentaries, but I don't know.
We like our iPhones and stuff, but
we like our iPhones. We love our iPads.
Let's spread our energy out a little bit more.
I agree. I feel the same exact way. But anyway, that's it. We'll wrap up from there. And there's a little bit of speculation, but as Final Cut Pro X or 10 comes out, we'll give a couple more tutorials, show you how it works a little bit better, and blab a little bit more about it. But for now, it's Bryce Randall from postfifthpictures.com.
And Cameron Randall with Blue Fire Studios.
And thanks for watching.
Adios.